Let's talk about truthfulness. And let's begin with a rather odd question. Does truthfulness matter anymore? As a child, I was taught, like you, that truthfulness matters immensely. It was the point, the moral of most of the stories that I remember from childhood. And as a Boy Scout, I'm an Eagle Scout, I was taught the Scout law and embraced it as my creed as a young adult. And the very first of those laws is a Scout is trustworthy. After high school, I went to the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, Maryland. And there I took on with my classmates and alumni before and after something that was for us to be a sacred creed. A midshipman does not lie, cheat, or steal, nor tolerate those who do. And we were taught something important, not just that way of life, but the reason for that way of life. That truthfulness was at the very core of our successful flourishing. If we were to engage in a common life where each of us had an interdependence on each other, and when you're in a military setting, that's especially true, that it's not possible for us to flourish, to survive, unless we can count on each other's honor, and unless we can count on each other's word. Our words were sacred, we were taught. And so we were taught very clearly, truthfulness is an essential thing that we would never want to lose, and we shouldn't tolerate those who depart from the truth. Many say today we live in a post-truth world, that truthfulness is not a virtue that we should expect anymore. Because, first of all, many have questions about such a thing as truth is even possible. There are no things that are actually true. We only have our opinions, some say. Truth speaking can be hard. There can be grave consequences for us in speaking the truth ourselves. And it's easy for us to calculate that we might be better served if we remain silent in the face of falsehoods and let things sort of sort themselves out rather than standing up and demanding that our leaders speak truths. Being truthful and nurturing a community of truthfulness is a very hard thing to do. Here's how I think about truthfulness and its importance. I want to construct a life in which I am always living in holy friendship with God and my near and distant neighbors. That's the meaning of my baptism. That's the promise that I made about who I would be. It's the very identity that I took on when I became a Christian. You see, God is truth. And if I want to be with God, the surest way for me to be with God is to ensure that my life intersects with the truth. That's how I meet God. That's how I live in holy friendship with God. Being truthful is my way of being with God. Put another way, the surest way I know for me to turn away from God is to turn away from the truth. It's to embrace a web of falsehoods, either spoken by me or by others, pretending that that which I know is false is true. Whenever I do that, I'm running about as fast as I possibly can away from God, because God is truth. And I think that's why forgiveness is the most important practice of humanity. It's the practice that generates our community, that makes our common life, our common flourishing possible. Because living lives of truthfulness is so hard. And from time to time, we do find ourselves caught up in webs of falsehood. And it's only the fact that we are forgiven that gives us the courage to turn around and go back in the direction of the truth, and to be reunited with it, and thereby be reunited with God and our neighbors near and distant. Forgiveness is at the very heart, because truthfulness is our way of being with God. Today in the public square, many of us have been told we have to choose between truthfulness and team loyalty. And we need to demonstrate our team loyalty by engaging in extraordinary mental and verbal gymnastics that justify a post-truth world, as though the path forward, the path to the abundance that we seek, is only possible through team loyalty rather than truthfulness. My friends, if that describes you, hear the good news. It's not too late to turn around. Embracing the truth, giving up the web of falsehoods that you may have embraced recently in your life, is the way back to a life filled with flourishing. It's not too late. Embracing the truth is the way. The truth will set you free.